evening's webinar. We might as well, without further ado, shall I just crack on? We all sort of know each other, don't we? So unless you want to. So in fact, I think who have we got? We've got myself, we've got Craig, we've got Alison, Davina, Sophie, Adrian, Jacqueline, and Nicola. Well, a warm welcome. We're going to talk about digital marketing for the next hour. And you know what? Here's some good news and some not so good news. The good news is we'll give you hopefully insight into marketing. The not so good news, we'll be looking for some volunteers. What are you going to volunteer for, you ask? Well, we might be looking for you or your business online. So we might do a Google search, and we might even have a look at your website and give you some feedback. I'll give you advance notice of that. You don't have to volunteer. You don't have to. But I'll tell you one thing, that for those of you willing to volunteer, it's quite nice to get 8 people to give you maybe some thoughts. So that is on offer. So as always, we start with a little quiz. Getting warmed up. Let's share my screen. All about marketing quiz this. Welcome. It is all about tonight reopening the high street safely. And here, Simon, on behalf of Ryedale District Council, my favourite council in all of Malton.
Checks in the post.
Yeah. Well, anything else you want me to say about how wonderful the council is? I've got a whole list of things here. They collect the bins, they do all sorts of wonderful things. So, all joking aside, I'm not into trouble, Craig, if I do get you. Anyway, so move on. So we're here. Oh, go on. Was someone bursting to ask a question? No. Right. So, the marketing quiz. True or false? Bit of fun. You can just shout it out as we go along. You know, you don't have to hand your homework in. So, the average consumer attention span is 10 seconds. True or false?
True.
I would guess true, yeah.
True. Any other? Well, I'm sorry. It starts up 8 seconds.
Oh, heck.
You're out straight away. No one ever wins the prize. The thing is, on this point, I'll come on to it later. Normally speaking, you've got a very short space of time when someone lands on your website, engage them, your social media, the whole thing. So short attention spans, that's the world we live in. Here we go. 75% of all marketing is expected to be spent on digital marketing. True or false?
True.
True. False.
Oh, one for false. See, there you are. All the money is being spent there. Here's a good one from the old marketing history books. And Bertha Benz successfully marketed her husband's invention, the motor car, when she took it for a 65-mile ride. True or false?
False.
True. You see, this is absolutely true, and it is well worth reading. If you ever get 5 minutes, read this one, because she took the car out to promote it, and while she was on her journey, she actually had she invented some brake system as well, because it was hard to use the car. So that was an example of marketing, actually taking your product out to the customers. Even back then. There we go. Here's another one about Blackberries hired actresses to flirt with men in bars to push Blackberries onto the public. True or false?
Probably true.
Believe it or not, it is disruptive marketing. Bertha Benz, Blackberries. People, businesses will do anything. So there we go. Right, let's go on to some people now. Famous people. Who's that? He's the reason why we're here today.
No idea who it is.
No
Not
idea.
true.
No idea.
No.
Anyone heard of Tim Berners-Lee?
Ah, he invented the internet.
He did indeed. There he is. Famous person, not so much a famous face. Who's that then? Go on then. Who's that?
Elon Musk.
Oh, Alison, you're on it tonight. You're on it. Elon Musk. And for extra bonus points, does anybody know what he christened his child?
Oh, can't say that.
Oh, it's something with X's and I's and
Oh,
N's.
yeah, on it. You wouldn't get that
I
on
can't
the first.
pronounce it.
That's, you know, I tell you what, that's when you're a billionaire, you can do what you like. But there you go. I don't know if that's giving the child a burden or not, but there we'll see. Right. Next up, who's that? Today's marketing quiz.
Oh, Dyson.
It is, yeah. James Dyson. I've got one. I'm thinking of getting rid of it because all it does is sit in the corner and gather dust.
Wow.
There we go. That was tonight's joke. Right, let's use that. Use a hard one. Bit hard one, this one. And it moves
Alexander
on.
Graham Bell. Oh no.
Was
Marconi.
Marconi. And he is the father of digital marketing. Because all those years ago, in 120 odd years ago, he became the first human to demonstrate the transmission of wireless signals. Because ultimately, digital marketing hasn't got anything to do with the internet. It is all about the different techniques you can use using, in effect, technology. So it's any form of marketing that involves, in effect, electronic device, whether it could actually be messaging, etc. It can be able to think of it very much as electronic devices, which we'll come back to. So let's move swiftly along. In its simplest, crudest terms, the challenge or the secret with digital marketing is that you are fighting for people's eyeballs. Now, as we speak, there are literally hundreds, maybe less, billions of people sitting in a chair looking at a device. And the question always is, or the searching, the looking, the engaging, the interacting, they're doing all sorts of different things, but you as businesses, as us as all business owners, are really, the secret is to try and fight for those eyeballs. But really what tonight, I'll show you some of the things to do to make sure you can get the attention of your customers or prospects. And really, the benefits of digital marketing are pretty obvious. Brand, you can engage with customers, you can deepen relationships, and you can guide customers along right from the beginning. And I put it in these terms. I'll leave this on the screen for a moment. The thinking with digital marketing, or as a whole, with it, is a customer journey. You are trying to raise, in the first place, awareness. So a customer is, in the first instance, a stranger. They next become somebody who may you start to consider you. The next, they may start to purchase from you. Then you'll hopefully retain them, and then they will become advocates for you. So it really is then about your messaging, your approach is different to customers depending on where they are on the journey. Okay, make sense? Anyone has any questions, just fire away. It's going to be interactive in a few ticks. So really, to match whatever you're saying, the content, match your content, the stage of a journey. If they don't know you, it's slightly different to somebody who is an existing customer. That is the right thinking. Right. So, first things first is to think of a having a strategy. And it's really simple. First question to answer is, who is your audience? Who are they? So you've got to build up a picture of who your audience is. So are they male or female or couples or the age, where they live, whatever it is, but ultimately you're building up what is known as a buyer persona. Who are they? And if you know the answer to that, you may have a problem, you may have a solution for them, whatever it is then all about creating content for them, depending stage at which the customer is at. Yeah. So very much then, next piece of the puzzle is to think, right, who your audience is, who your target is, your potential customers, and why you are different to your competitors. What is it that makes you different? To have to be, there's hardly any business that's unique but different. So the first things first. One of the key things with digital marketing is for you to have evidence, often known as social proof. So these are reviews, third-party, independent reviews. So I'm going to stop sharing now, because Amazon and the likes are built on reviews. People are drawn by reviews. Now, first volunteer of the night. Anybody like to volunteer? We're going to open up Google and we'll have a little look at your business and whether there is any social proof out there. If there isn't any volunteers, don't feel embarrassed. I'll just look for someone randomly. Any volunteers on the call tonight?
I don't mind. I mean, you can do me.
Yeah?
But,
Okay.
but I'm only new, so there might not be anything on me.
Well, Davina, the Beesham way.
That's right.
You're in the, do you know what? Thank you for volunteering. You're in the hot seat.
Oh, heck.
Great for volunteering. We haven't done this before. This is not stage. So I'm going to open up Google. Can I open up Google? I'm sure I can. I'm going to share my, oops, what am I doing? What am I doing? Let's forget that. I'm going to have a little mad moment there. I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to share the screen over, where are we? Here. What am I doing? I'm going to go onto Google. We haven't rehearsed this. And I'm going to type in, has that come up on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there'll be anything on me at all. I don't know.
Wow.
It's terrifying, isn't it?
It is. Is your heart going pitter-patter?
It is, to be honest. I won't lie. It is, yeah.
Well, it's fantastic volunteering, because I know you've done quite a lot of work on your website, you know, in
I have, but I'm totally winging it. I won't lie. I have not got a clue. I've been a midwife for 20 years, and this is like totally out of my expertise, shall we say.
No, either. It's fantastic for you to volunteer. Thank you. All I can say is that you put yourself in the public, you know, the public spotlight. Now, I've just typed in your business, and now I'll come back to this. On the right-hand side here,
Mm-hmm.
as you can see on the screen, is something called Google My Business. Are you familiar with that, Rowena? Yeah? And everyone on the call? Right.
Yeah.
Here is one of the best starting points for digital marketing. Now come back to it in a bit more detail. We've just done this little exercise. I would really encourage you to try and get some people to review your business through here on a Google review.
Mm-hmm.
Now, just between you, me, and the gatepost, nobody's listening. If you can't get a customer, just get somebody who's been into the shop, who's familiar with you, and we'll put something there, because it's nice just to have at least one or two. I'm not suggesting anyone does anything unethical, but it's just about credibility.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been to your shop. I'll give you a review.
Well, that's great.
Oh, bless you.
Just getting some people to kind of, you have to kind of ask. If you don't, as my granny used to say, lad, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Yeah,
So,
I'm very into that.
and there's a mechanism which I can show you in a moment on my, I can't do it from your profile, but there's a way in which you can create a link to give to people to actually get a review. Do you want me to show you that now?
Right.
I'll do that now, and it might be I just have to. I can only do it from my own. Oh, this is opened up. So social proof. This is my company. Hopefully it opens this up. If not, I'm going to panic. It's what opens up the back end of Google My Business. Ooh, it's not loading up. Ooh. It's a bit like waiting for the kettle to boil. There. And here, can you see it on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Get more reviews. And it opens up. It's just the whole profile here. You can do lots of different things. The back end of Google My Business, you go on to get more reviews, and you can send a link to somebody to complete the review. It's a very powerful thing to do. I'm going to, does that make sense there? I'm going to come back to you, Davina. I'm going to show you one other quick thing while I'm on Google My Business. Okay? This is not Molten specific. Okay? This is really random. I'm typing in funeral directors near me. Thought choose something. It brings up initially all the companies who are advertising with Google. But then it always brings up local searchers. And it brings up, because I'm here, it brings up the 3 businesses that are usually closest to me, and it ranks them, usually in terms of distance, but also in terms of the number of reviews. Now, I don't know any of these businesses, but my inclination might be to use McTeague's, because look what they have. They have reviews and 5-star reviews. So,
and more of them than Thornton's, so you're more
exactly.
likely. Yeah.
So, and I can just go, you can choose another examples, just, I'll just choose random retailers, florists near me, and again, it brings up similar things there. 3 businesses, looking down at this, and I don't want to be unkind to Victoria Ivy. Can you see that on the screen? But you're getting, all I can say is this. Just looking very simply at Google My Business is a great example here. Victoria Ivy, 1 review. Flower House, 34. Carol Wynn or Wynn Carol, 11. And here, it tells me I can even pick up in store. So with the Flower House, even though it's further away from where I am, and I don't know anything about this business, that's my first reaction, is to go there, because we've got 34 happy customers. I can pick them up, and without even knowing anything about them, my inclination to think that they might be, try not to use the wrong words, might be better, perceived to be better. But if they are or they're not, doesn't really matter. Because marketing ultimately is about perception. But the social proof, with those little examples there, probably you can see the importance of Google My Business, which brings me back to the Beecham way.
I'm going to say feel free to use a better example because you're probably not going to get far with mine.
Well, don't worry. Thank you so much for it. It is. I would really encourage you to pick up reviews
Yeah, definitely.
in
Yeah.
Google, or in Facebook, but you want them to be independent. Does that make sense? That help?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
While I'm on this subject, is anyone else wanting to quickly volunteer?
You can look at ours. holidaycottagesinyorkshire.com.
Right. Let's hope it says holiday cottages in Yorkshire.com. I'll just pick that up. Just hope it comes up.
Should do. Ooh, I hope so.
Yeah?
It's Cliff House Holiday Cottage.
Oh, sorry. I better look for. Sorry, because I have to look. I'm looking for. I'll come back to searching. Sorry.
Cliff House Holiday Cottages.
House. Holly cottages.
Holiday Cottages.
Yeah. Because it's particularly in the travel industry. Yeah.
Yeah, that's us.
Scarborough.
Another, yeah,
Yeah.
that top one.
Eberston.
Yeah.
Because particularly in the travel industry, what do? We're using potentially the Google reviews and also TripAdvisor. Here, great. Oh, 43, 4.7. Let me click them. Okay. Now, it is reality that you're not going to please everybody. It's just not, But
we only took over the business last March, so I think the 2-star review wasn't ours.
Yeah, well, that's great. The key thing here for everybody on the webinar tonight is 2 things. Please answer them, and the second thing is if you get a good one or some, share them. Do you want me to show you how to share them on social media? Yeah. Okay. So you're fantastic here. Well done, Jacqueline, for volunteering. Look at that. Fabulous state. Highly recommended. Comfy bed. Clean, great. Well, that's fantastic. Now, what I'll do here, let me show you this. Follow this. I'll click on Anna Booth. Hope this works. Now, what it should do is bring up Anna's contributions, which it has done.
Okay.
I'll click on reviews here. On this, do it slowly. I click on reviews. I'm going to stare at the screen. I hope it works. Come on. Click on it again. Yeah, they are. That's the review. And look what we can do here. We press share. What happens? And this by magic, you can share that onto Facebook or on Twitter. Sharing your review. How about that? Isn't that clever?
Yeah.
So you can use the reviews to your own way, and under things like some of the other places like TripAdvisor and Trustpilot. This is all social proof. Now, if I asked you to think about maybe your Amazon behavior, you go and buy a pair of slippers or a toaster or who knows what. Please tell me on the call tonight how many of you don't look at the reviews.
I try not to order on Amazon, to be fair.
I know you mean I shouldn't have said, but also any online retailer.
Local.
The enemy, whatever. But the review often it's driven by reviews. Okay, right. So great things there, and I want to look at all the other. You can look at all your other places to go where you can get reviews, which obviously will be like to TripAdvisor, here, and all this. Really important. You encourage people to review, as I mentioned, and you answer those. So thank you very much for volunteering. Okay, right. That's the first thing. Very much on Google really encourages businesses to think what they want you to be local. It's really important you master Google My Business. And if you don't mind, I'm just going to go, I think I have to open up another screen. If I haven't lost anybody, I'm going to open up my Google My Business again. And I'll try and, let's come up on the screen, show you some of the features within it. If I can remember how.
So would you say that Google My Business is as important for the local, because I'm coming from a very small local independent business, as obviously it's really important for the multinational when you're talking about like who is our audience. Like mine, I would still say is local to me,
Yeah.
because people got the experience and things, you know, the shopping experience, the customer service, all those, the friendly face, the chat, because they're not getting out very much and all that kind of thing. You know, would you still say that this is as important for people like little people like me?
Definitely. It's a number of things. It picks up, like I just did, we're looking for florists and looking for funeral directors, and I could have gone through a whole raft of retailers. It's bringing up the if you high, it's just this mentality. If you high in a Google search, there's a perception of credibility.
Yeah.
The second thing is, if you have reviews or social proof, you're also perceived to be credible. I'd flip it around. Like I made a really snap judgment on those forests. But don't forget, 20 minutes ago, people's attention span is so short. People want it now. And so you have to almost spoon feed the customer. If you've got reviews and answered and they're generally good, you know, it's a big help. But I'll just go on to this area. If I could just ask for I'll come back to Google My Business. I hope for that, I'll just want to ask somebody, we can look for a business. We won't type their name in, but the one key thing to think about with digital marketing is always put your mind in the mind of the customer. Everyone's brain works in a different way. We don't often type in a very specific company. We may look very generally. So is there a volunteer on the call? We can just have a generic look in that world, if that makes sense.
Feel free to ignore me, because I know that I volunteered a lot.
Yeah,
but
that's great. Thank you, Davina. That's no problem. Anyone else?
Feel free to ignore. The only other thing that I was going to say just on that is that there has been an issue with us, because I like Alison, I only took over the business in March in mine, and it was a health food shop previously to that. So often when I've put into Google health food shop Malton, then the old closed business comes up, and so that's a bit of an issue for us, because we've had a lot of people that have come in. Oh, I thought you were closed. I mean, actually,
is that because of the Google My Business? It's appeared on the Google My Business, is it?
Yeah. So if you type in sort of health food shop Malton, then grain to gain or grain to grain or whatever it was called before, that comes up. So I think we're now second. You know, gradually it's increased, like moved up the line, but that's it says closed because it's the old business.
You can within the mechanism. You can contact Google.
What?
I did, yeah, and I've asked them to put it as open on the other page.
Yeah,
they did, and whether that makes any difference, I don't know. But yeah, I just throw that in there. I'll be quiet now.
No, that's okay. I'll just. Often, what happens is that people will ask a question of Google, because more and more people are doing voice searches. Okay, so I'll just choose something random in the area. Yeah. So.
Don't mind you using us either.
Is that Diane? Is that Diane?
Yeah, I don't mind you using our caravan park.
If I say something, I'm going to try and do an experiment here. Let's assume that I don't know your business.
Okay.
And I would just type in something like, I I'm going to go for it. This is how my brain would work. So I would put in caravan park near Pickering. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah. Run now. Here is. You can see what's happened, but I won't go any further. And if I give you probably a lot of advice on digital marketing, is that a lot of people spend their time beginning their look always on Google. And this is all about what's called, probably familiar, SEO, or search engine optimization. So I've typed in caravan park near Pickering, but Google has already brought up other searches. So people are using these atypical kind of searches. And really the secret is, its very simplest terms, is to get these words into your website. There's a bit more to it than that, but I'll just show you. So I'm going to go with this one. Drum roll. What comes up? Well, here it comes up this way. I've got caravan park near Pickering. It'll bring up in results usually directories. Okay, so you can click onto campsites.com or PitchUp, and then underneath we're back into the classic Google My Business. There's others I can view all, but you can see again, you know, these are well reviewed, and there's lots of reviews there. So they're the other ones, and then underneath this is the highest organic searches. Now, why have these come up first? Well, if you look at what I have searched for, caravan park near Pickering, in the page title here for this particular company is the phrase caravan park. Here in their what is known as a meta description is caravan park and Pickering. So it's this idea that you have to tap into the mind of the customer and optimize your website with the words that people are likely to search for. Now, that's not to say that, Diane, you're not doing well and not picking up searches, but I've obviously just chosen one. But people may not always search so generically for caravan park. So I'll try another one. Let's say, oh, look at that, static caravans. And you can see it brings up slightly different results. But I don't know, are you familiar with that, with PitchUp?
Yeah, we've got ours on PitchUp, yes.
Yeah. So maybe you might, what may happen then, given this situation here at the top, I think, see where the mouse is, you might go there and to PitchUp. Alternatively, you may go for a very specific park here, or you'll go into what is known as an affiliate. So a bit like Compare the Market or wherever it might be, pitchup.com, you may click there and go there. But I hope you don't mind me, I'll give a little shout out, obviously the Black Bull. I don't know how good this might be, or whether you consider it a competitor or whatever it might, but they seem to be appearing quite high in searches.
Yeah, I suppose they're closer to Pickering than we are. Yeah. We were just underneath them on that first search. Obviously, we don't have static, so we won't come up on this one. Oh, we shouldn't do. So yeah, maybe that was in order of. Yeah. Yeah, they're in Pickering, we're sort of 9 miles out of Pickering. So whether that was location. So
I might put something like, I see, you might put up, you know, whatever caravan site, caravan park. You see, I might search for north, you know, near, you know, it could be anywhere, but you can see it. I can't spell, can I? Near Scarborough. You know, I'll just choose that. Again, it's maybe a typical search, and you can see what it brings up. My advice to everyone tonight is to sort of play with Google, and there are various different sites to go to find the highest volume keyword searches. And I can give you some of those names. A lot of them are free, and I'll try. Is anyone using any of these tools at the moment?
No.
No. Right. Let me show you. I'm opening up another window here, so let me show you some of these. You don't have to be super geeky, but one is called Moz Explorer. I'll click it. I'll try and do it now. So here, does that open up on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to go through the whole process, but just for an illustration, you can look for keywords. So Moz is one. Let me show you another one. If I can get it up on the screen. Another one is SME Rush. SME Rush, yeah. Again, similar thing. I might be able to do it on this one. See if it works. Does that hopefully come up on the screen? It's fighting its way up. Oh, please work. It's taking its time. And you can do the same thing. You can type in keywords, and you can type in your own website to find and to look to some words, to some keyword research. Now, if you can't do this, I mean, it's not your kind of thing, I would really advise that you speak to your web designer to find out about the optimization of your site. Because secrets with websites, it's not how good the website looks, it's not always how good the website performs, it's will people find it. And the way in which what happens, as I've illustrated, so you look at SME Rush and look at how we've done this, is that people will search in different ways for sites, and you want people to arrive on your site. So Google My Business is a great way of doing it, to get local searchers to use the likes of keywords, to do some research to find the keywords, and then put those keywords into your website, and get your web designer to help you do that. So there are two things to do. Now, I'm going to go back. I hope I've not lost anybody. I'm going to go back to this example again, which I think was it funeral director example. Funeral directors, I think I had. Yeah. The other way in which you can appear high on a Google search is to pay for the privilege. Anybody on the webinar tonight spent any money with Google on pay-per-click?
No.
No.
Now, you can see here, I'll give you the pros and cons. You've got 4 businesses there. And I'm going to ask the question on here tonight. Using this example here, what would you do? I'll give you options. Would you A, click one of those? Would you click one of these? Or would you click down here?
I usually scroll past all the ads.
Yeah.
Likewise. Yeah, me too.
I do too.
It's interesting you say that, but I think at this moment in time, it's about 50. I think about half of people do scroll past. Now, my suggestion would be this. If you go onto your Google My Business page, you can often, and I've got, I'll go back to my page in a moment, Google will sometimes give you a credit. And so they will try and, you can say spend £20, I think the last one I saw, and they'll give you £80 free. You can get £100 worth of pay-per-click, in effect, an ad. So it's a fairly small investment, and Google is the world's biggest online marketing advertising platform. You may wish to make a very small investment on Google pay-per-click to see if it gets you traffic, visitors to your website. Now, what you'll need as well is Google Analytics set up, which hopefully some of you may have, which monitors the traffic on your website. So it'll give you insight as to what's happening. Okay, so it's worth thinking about sometimes cracking open the piggy bank and spending there. That's the first page there. You can move down, so you've got the directories. It's only for funeral directors, but I think as one or two of you have said tonight, I think Diane particularly, you may want to register with the relevant directories. Make sure you're on those. So they will go there, like, was it Pitch Up, and others may come to you, click on that site and then come to you. So I'd rather
they didn't go through Pitch Up though, because they charge a commission.
Exactly, like Booking.com do as well, don't they?
Yeah, we'd rather them go direct to our own website. Yeah.
But you might want to register with the free ones like Yell or those.
Okay.
Now, if you come down to the page on Google My Business, we'll finish on that bit, but look what's here. Have you seen that on first page of Google, that people also ask?
Yeah.
There's questions and there's answers. That is called a featured snippet. Sounds a bit of what it is that that's because there's more and more searchers that are voice searchers. We're often asking Google a question, and Google will, if you are answering the popular questions and you're providing an answer, Google will put you on the first page. How do you do this? Well, in a part of digital marketing, there's something called content marketing, and often within content marketing is blogging. So you could write blogs or articles you put on your website, which are questions and answers. So for each and every one of your business, whether it's holiday cottages or healthy food or whatever it might be, you might want to spend some time writing words to put on your website. Not only it'll mean that your website performs well, because people like to see question, answer, question, answer. Here, they may also get you onto the front page of Google. It's called featured snippet. Question, answer. Very simple to do, and it's not a guarantee, but it might well help each and every one of you. So when we've just done that search, so I'll just go back to this again. So think about the advertising. Certainly to rev up or be present on Google My Business. To make sure you've got reviews. Think that you may wish to write articles with answers there. And under this other area is when you do some keyword search, like there, to make sure the keywords are put in the descriptions of the pages to your website. So putting the words in the title, in the page titles, as I've highlighted, and also in the page descriptions. Has that made kind of very simple, hopefully simple sense in kind of working your way around Google? Gone quiet.
Yeah.
I mean, I've bamboozled everybody.
Yeah.
Or is there questions?
Thinking.
Now, let's cut to the chase. The biggest challenge with digital marketing, twofold. Time, expertise. Let's be fair. How many of you want to sit in front of a computer all day?
No,
Or
thanks.
really enjoy it?
Yeah.
And I must be honest, it's not everyone's cup of tea. You've really got two options. You do it yourself, or you get somebody to do it. Now, I've heard some horror stories about people being completely mischarged for doing some of this work. To help you that way. A lot of this you can do yourself. Certainly the Google My Business element and getting reviews, I would really encourage you to do yourself. Blogging and putting an article up there every couple of months on your website, you can do yourself. If you want a tip, you may wish to use some of the freelance websites that exist. Has anyone used things like people per hour?
Yeah.
No. Well, there's things like people per hour, and what you can do on people per hour, you can post something like, say, I'd like a website built, and you get people to bid for it, to do the work for you. And it's all driven by reviews. You can see, you may get people from India and America and wherever in the world. But you can get people to do things for you at fair, and make it very competitive. Now, there's always a problem because I personally would rather support local industry and meet somebody personally, but I do know clients who've used other platforms.
That's backfired with us massively.
Yeah.
We've used local people for websites, for Shopify, for building all these things, thinking we were doing the right thing, neighbours and people, because we wanted to, and it's massively backfired. So I don't always think that's necessarily the right thing, because we've been ripped off and have ended up with stuff that's not usable because we've tried to use local people and it's been awful. So it don't always work that way, does it?
Yeah, it doesn't. I use a lady in Kenya to do a lot of market research for me, and because she's in Kenya, it make a difference to me. But I know I'd rather in some ways support stuff, but she does very specific work, and it's very affordable. You pay your money, you take your chance. So with digital marketing, I would really encourage you to do a lot of it yourself, as much as you can. But I wouldn't do it any more than you can devote whatever, half an hour or so a day to something like this, equivalent of. But there's a big prize to be had for being on the first page of Google, for having lots of traffic to your website, lots of inquiries. So I think really carefully about that. Obviously, I'm conscious of time. The other thing I would say about digital marketing, a big part of digital marketing, social media. We did it in the previous webinar, but all the time on your social media, think really carefully about trying to use it to get people to visit your website. Every post you do on social media, I said this last time, think really carefully about what you're trying to achieve, what you want to happen. And so think about setting up links to come into your social media. From your social media, maybe to your website, you want people to undertake actions. So for example, if you are on the holiday park and you're posting about something, you can always put a link in that post. Click on that for them to visit a page of your website. Has anybody used the likes of Bitly?
Yeah.
Right, let me show you something that will help. Do you mind if I'm going to give you a live example here. Anyone, do you mind, Davina, if I just used you again as an example? I'm going to go onto your website, and I'm going to take a link from your website. So I'm here on your website, and I'm going to click onto the About Us page. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the top there, you can see I've highlighted in blue the link.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a lot of link.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to copy that link like so. Copy that. I'm going to open up something called, if I can work, Bitly. Bitly. You're saying, what's Bitly, Simon? Bitly is a link shortener, which should open up. So I'm going to come down here. Can you see what I've done? I'm going to copy that link. Let me just have to shut that down slightly. I'm copying that link and I'm pressing shorten, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens? It produces a much shorter link. Now, you will then copy that link and put it into your social media. And the beauty about making the link short is that you're using up less characters if you're using Twitter, and you're making it using up less characters on your Facebook page. And it's not, and so there's a little bit of intrigue as well to the link. And equally, if you go into Bitly afterwards, you can find out how many people have clicked the link. You can see you've got a measurement as to whether it's worked. So take a big link, make it shorter, put the shorter link into your social media, and then you can track how many people have clicked that link.
Is that free to use then? Is it? Do you have to have an account? Yeah.
Free. Naturally, if you want a higher functionality, you pay more. But it's free. But everything I've said tonight is free, with the exception really of the Google ads. So you've got little tools there to use. It is now, hopefully, I'll reprise. So think of digital marketing as being more than the internet. It's about the way to do things. Think really carefully about who your customers are and the different messages to get them at different times. Then think really carefully about trying to tap into their behavior, to think what they're likely to search for. Get some good reviews so you've got some social proof. find out the atypical keywords that people search for. You can do some research on that, put those keywords into your website, and there you've got, in the crudest terms, a very kind of hopefully manageable process. The final thing I would say was that I would make sure that you're continually communicating with your customers. So if you have a database of customers, I would really encourage you to send out newsletters and the likes. It's probably the best, simplest way of keep talking to customer. It is a form of digital marketing. It's to carry on with email marketing. Again, it's free. And if you're using the likes of MailChimp, which some of you may be using, you can add up to 1,000 email addresses in there. You just send out whatever, a monthly or bi-monthly newsletter. And set up links within the newsletter for people to click and go to your website. So, in 57 minutes, got to finish on time. It is about two things to say. If I have excited you tonight or a bamboozled tonight, I don't know. I'll take either way. As part of this program, if you would like one-to-one help from little old me for an hour for free, drop me a line. I know there's a lady on the call who's already taken advantage and she's still talking to me. That's good. So if you would like to do that for next week, just drop me a line. We can do something very specific for you. I can look at what you've done and give you some tips. That offer is on the table. Craig one day had my arm so far up my back, I had to say yes. But anyway, joking, he knows that. But so if you'd like that, more than happy to help. But if not, I want to thank you for this evening, and I'm going to hand over to my friend Craig, who's going to say more about opening up the high street.
Yes, thank you, Simon. So I appreciate we've just had the 1 hour this evening. Digital marketing is quite a substantial subject to cover in just a 1 hour slot, as you'll all agree. But hopefully you've taken some bits away with you tonight, which you can go away and implement with you. I should say this is the last session of the 3 sessions we're holding for retailers under the return to the high street funding we've had through the council. But there are lots of other avenues of business support available, primarily the North Yorkshire Growth Hub, House Business. If you log onto the website House Business, you'll find a schedule of all the webinars that are happening at the moment for businesses in our patch. You can access that link through the District Council section under COVID on the homepage, and there are lots of other areas of support as well. We as a council are there to support businesses, retailers, obviously tourism sector. If there are other areas of support that you're looking at or you do require, then please get in contact with us via the business team, and that's business@ryedale.gov.uk is our email, or we're all on social media and contact us whichever way is convenient. So thank you for attending tonight. As I said, hopefully you've taken away some bits that you can implement, and I'd urge you to utilise Simon. He's available. Anybody on the call, half an hour session within next week. I'm sure you can fit, Sam can fit his diary around you next week. Other than that, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. All I'll say is we'll send a link through with some of the slides and to tonight's recording. And if you want to drop me a line, that's great. If not, well, that's fine as well. And just hope you've enjoyed it. I certainly have. And it's only right to say thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.